Awesome. With that, we're going to bring in Nick from Story Pop. I told you about this tool before. It really is something that's quite amazing. And he's going to show you kind of conceptually how to incorporate storytelling into the brand. Regardless of the tool, it's about that experience that I think you said, probably you and Savas, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, probably said, Instagram stories are really taking off. What can we do with this? and and Salva's coming from that viral marketing background and all that stuff, I think said we can make this viral. So Nick, with that said, how's it going?
Thank you, Derek. Thanks everyone for joining. I think my sound is good. Should be.
Yes, your slides are here. I will go ahead and let you take it away.
Thank you. So hi, I'm Nick, and I run growth at StoryPop, and I've helped multiple brands grow through content and storytelling since I was 17. And now I'm trying to step up the game by applying lessons from neuroscience and psychology to marketing. And that is what this talk is about: applying storytelling to Shopify to make more money and increase brand loyalty. So it's about storytelling. So I'll start with a story about the power of storytelling. There was this project back in 2009 where they bought some random insignificant items for a couple of dollars each, like that plastic horse, that weird flute, and even that tiny jar of mayo. Then they went out and found some various upcoming writers, and they assigned an object to each writer and asked them to write a fictional story about the items. Once that was done, they uploaded those items on eBay for auction, and they listed the fictional stories as a product description. The result? They managed to turn $128 worth of basically useless items into $3,600. That is roughly a 3,000% increase in value. Now, for reference, the tiny jar of mayo went from being valued at like zero because it was a marketing gimmick or whatever, to being valued at $51, and that is for a tiny jar of mayo. That is the power of storytelling. Now, to further illustrate the power of it, I'll show you some examples of how real-life Shopify brands use storytelling to make more money. Gymshark, everybody knows it, uses motivational content on Instagram and YouTube in an exceptional way. As if you go and visit their Instagram page, you're gonna see that they post videos, stories, and reels showing how the brand is part of the customer's journey to a fit body, which is ultimately their customer's goal. But on YouTube, the founder himself posts videos with stories from building the company and tips on business. Now, those two things combined, they give you a 360 view on the company, and they make you love it because you see how they think, how they work, and how they put their work, their products out in the world. Now, needless to say that Gymshark started as a small Shopify store, and now they're worth more than $1 billion. Now, over to paid advertising. Nerdy Nuts, a company that makes peanut butter, grew 20x in nearly 3 months using storytelling advertising. They use the influencer storytelling on TikTok, which has immense potential for growth, I'm sure you know. And they position their products as part of the influencer's routine and content. In their case, cooking, since we're talking about peanut butter. The people who watch these specific influencers care about living a specific, cozy, routine lifestyle, and Nerdy Nuts plays a product in a way to show how they can integrate into their routine and essentially bring more happiness to the customers. Now, another place storytelling can be extremely effective is on a brand's website. Now, for Manitoba, which is a Canadian shoe store, one of their most successful series is called Story Boots, where they find indigenous artisans to partner with and make shoes together. After that, every pair of shoes is accompanied by a written story about the artisan and where they come from. And this whole campaign is presented with a very emotional video that was most likely shot on a phone, and it's really incredible. Now, those two things combined, they make you love the products and add so much meaning behind what they do that people are willing to pay their fairly steep prices for a pair of shoes that is roughly around $400. Now, what can we get from this? That yes, it is true that people do not buy what you do; they buy why you do it. It sounds cliche, but there are so many shoe brands, so many peanut butter companies, and countless sportswear brands. Yet Gymshark, Manitoba, and Nerdy Nuts manages to excel through storytelling. Now, let's see why this storytelling thing works in the first place. If you think about what's the purpose of marketing and branding, you'll find that you can reduce it to one single thing. You want to show customers that it makes sense to buy the product. You want to make it a happy, deliberate decision. But how do you do that? You do it by triggering the right hormones in the brain. And how do you do that? You do that with storytelling, which is proven to be the best tool for the job. So, which hormones are we talking about? First, there is dopamine. It's what makes you feel motivated and focused and have a better memory. And it's what you get as you experience something that builds suspense, which is a cliffhanger, and uses storytelling throughout, which fundamentally increases dopamine levels. And that's why people love listening to stories. Second, we have oxytocin, which is the key hormone brands should focus on, and it's what makes you feel generosity, trust, and bonding. You produce it by using empathy, aka making others feel that they can relate to something, curiosity, acceptance, belonging, and loyalty. And lastly, we've got endorphins. That is the fun hormone. It's what makes you feel positive, creative, and relaxed. And it's what you get after laughing at a meme or watching a comedy, things like that. Now, I said that storytelling is the best tool to trigger those hormones. But why is this the case? First of all, neuroscience has tons of papers showing a strong positive correlation between stories and those hormones. And you can try for yourself later. You can go watch an award winning short movie on YouTube, they're usually 20 minutes long, and you'll feel as described before. Now, second reason stories work is because human memory is story based fundamentally. We find grips in parts and characters and settings in stories to which we can relate to and boost our emotional understanding and awareness. Humans store and retrieve information in form of episodic stories. Think for yourself, if you have a great experience with a brand and later on you go on to refer that company to a friend, there is a good chance you're going to do that in the form of a story. And lastly, stories help people feel clarity and reassurance on what will make them feel happier. They help humans emotionally understand analytical decisions like purchasing and give them sentimental meaning. Now, to wrap all this thing up, humans understand the world in stories. That's how we make sense of it. Now, I think by now I've convinced you that storytelling works and can do work miracles for Shopify brands. But how do you do it? How do you actually apply it to a company? Here's a proven framework. First thing you want to do is that you want to gather important information. That is, you want to know your message, your audience, and your brand. And you can do that by asking yourself 3 questions. What do we want people to perceive? Do you want them to get to know your brand, or do you want them to buy your products? Once you have that, ask yourself, who are we talking to? Who is the audience? Now, here you think customer personas. Are you talking to a fancy executive or a skate park student? Here, it would be very useful to think of what they watch in their free time. Do they watch documentaries or the Kardashians? And lastly, ask who are we? Who is the brand? Are we a serious or a funny brand? Why do we exist? And what do we want to do in this world? Now, the answers to those questions are going to work as guidelines as you make the story later on. Now, once you have that information, it's time to generate story ideas. This is where you get creative. It is way easier than it seems, and there is always something to tell. But regardless, I'll show you some places where you can look at for inspiration. First things first, look at your brand and ask, where did the idea come from? What is the mission of the company? You can also look at your founders and ask, where did they come from? What was the struggle like building a company? And things like that can generate beautiful inspirational content, business lessons, and even interviews or like podcasts. And lastly, you should look at your products, obviously. How do you make it? Or why do you make it? And how does it make people feel the way they want to feel? After you've aggregated all that information, it's time to pick the format and actually make the story. Now, short videos are the most effective and engaging form. You'll want to focus on portrait and vertical video, mostly because all of the customers online nowadays come from mobile phones. And you can do that just by using your mobile phone camera, which is more than enough. And in fact, it will make the video feel more authentic than using professional gear. You can use Mojo. It's like a free online editing tool. And if you need a stock videos, you can use Pexels that has free, not cringy stock videos. For sound and music, I usually use Bensound, it's called, that has copyright free, again, cheap or free music. Another effective method you can use to deliver your stories is photo text. That is, chill photos and graphics accompanied by well written copies. Again, you can use your phone camera or you can use Pexels for stock images. Then you can add the text and the copies using Canva or Figma, which are design tools, again, free on the web. And I would highly recommend you add some GIFs just to make it more fun and make your stories stand out among the countless of static images on the web. Now, the last step is to deliver the story and put it out in the world. Here are some ideas on where you can do that. You can start easy with Instagram stories. and deliver digestible stories right when your customer is looking for entertainment, as Frank Bodie did here on the right. Then you should consider your products, packaging, and presentation, which can be a story of their own. Think of unique product customization experiences and or post-purchase experiences. You should also consider earned media like blogs, podcasts, newsletters, and such. That can be an incredible medium to deliver your stories and have been working for companies for the past I don't know how many years. And lastly, your website can be your most powerful storytelling tool. It is your home, it is your where your brand lives, and it is where you can say what you want the way you want. And as you make the stories, you should remember that fact-based communication works, but with storytelling, it can do miracles. Now, let's see how we apply that brand, how we apply that framework on a real Shopify brand, and how we applied the theory and made essentially more money with it. Mastic Spa is a skincare and cosmetics brand dating back to 1875 based on a Greek island. They make products using unique ingredient found in a particular island in Greece, and that is mastic. Their main revenue source was a retail store, but the brand aimed to change that and become the go-to online store globally for mastic-based products. And they decided to do that through storytelling. So let's see how we help them grow by applying the framework I just talked about. So step one was to understand the message, the audience, and the brand. We decided that our main goal was to generate awareness about the brand's history and unique ingredients and sell more products. It is a two-sided goal, but increasing awareness would increase sales inevitably. Then we went on to define who our customer persona is, and we settled on this. Millennial women that care about themselves and are savvy about the products they use. They like aesthetics and appreciate a sense of humor. They dream about a chill, happy life and are summer type of people. Once we had that done, we moved on to reflect upon the brand and ask who is Mastic Spa. And we ended up with this. Mastic Spa is a brand with deep history and products made with ingredients found nowhere else. We speak in a jolly way, yet we're knowledgeable about what we're talking about. We help our customers find the happy, healthy body they seek by becoming part of their routine, and we are in a summer state of mind. Now that we had that information, it was time to get creative and make the story ideas. First, we looked at the Mastic Spa brand. It was obvious that we had to emphasize on the history when the company was first founded. So we looked for some of the first products and some pictures of the past. Then we looked at the products. The ingredients and the therapeutic properties are something that we want to educate people through our stories. The fact that you cannot find those ingredients anywhere else is something that could create curiosity and therefore oxytocin. Now, as products, they are designed to help women keep their skin healthy and live the life they want. So we try to think of ways of how we can place the products as characters in the customer's journey into that dream life they want to achieve. Now that we had the sources for stories, it was time to get creative and make some content. Since the team was small and the budget was fairly tight, we made everything on our own using the tools I mentioned before. Firstly, we put articles as a way to educate people about products and everything, and because it was the most easy to produce. Since we would write basic scripts for the rest of the content, we can already had blog posts. And then we chose to use photo text and have more engagement. At that point, we could both create new content and repurpose some of the articles, and so we did. We found some old pictures of the founder and some old products to show the brand's history, and we created digestible photo text content about the unique ingredients used in the products. And lastly, we focused on the short video, which is by far the most effective medium of them all. Knowing that our customers like routines and such, we filmed skincare routines, showing how the products integrate into one's life and bring happiness. Now, with the content ready, it was time to show it and put it out in the world. Firstly, we did that with a blog, which is super easy to implement. We took the written ideas for stories and videos, and with a little bit of polishing, extra words, we had ready-made blog posts. Our main content was about educating people of the ingredients, but we expanded with skincare tips and such. And then it was time for Instagram. We started using simple photo text stories, showing how the ingredients and how we wanted to educate people about how they can use those mysterious products from that specific island to improve their health, their healthy skin. And then, in order to create relatable experiences, we asked customers for before and after pictures of after using the product, and to use them as proof of concept, mostly for the products, and show how the product can become part of the customer's journey into the healthy skin they like. With that, We also thought that since we didn't want to be a serious brand, it would be fun if we posted some memes every now and then. Now, with all that and more, we were able to grow Mastic's Instagram following from 1,200 to nearly 8,000 followers in about 4 months. But everyone says you should open a blog, and everyone says you should post on Instagram. Now, here's what we did differently. We wanted to take the classic proven marketing tactics like announcement boards, welcome offers, pop-ups, and such, and blend them with visual storytelling on our website. And this is exactly what Storypop is made for. The website was our most effective storytelling medium. Being in the brand's home, as I said, it's where we could say what we wanted the way we wanted. So our first tactic was to use the old reliable announcement bar that grabs people's attention, and instead of pouring text, we filled it with Instagram-like stories to retain that attention, thus bringing the social element in the store. Overall, this helped us turn the Mastic store into a storytelling experience of its own and promote the most profitable products we had. Now, time on the website was increased by 15%, and we made more sales thanks to the following tactics within and outside the announcement bar. Now, since Mastic was an unknown brand, we wanted to include some social proof into the story, and we did that in two ways, basically. First of all, we embedded Mastic Instagram feed in the story using Storybook. Now, that is a classic technique, but it's pretty essential at this point. Combined with the storytelling Instagram strategy I mentioned before, it managed to work as an oasis of proof and entertainment within the store. Well, that worked, but what actually made the difference in terms of sales and Instagram following was the fact that we synced the Instagram stories with our website. So every time we uploaded a story on Instagram, it would be uploaded on our website as well. The idea behind that was to make the brand image feel more consistent and essentially take the storytelling marketing efforts we did on Instagram on our website without any additional work from our side. Now, apart from that, the other group of stories we had, we called them story pops, was about the brand and the ingredients. The story about the brand's family history was aimed to attach meaning to the products and show the journey the brand has been through and the experience it has collected over the many, many years. Essentially, it put a real face behind the brand and created empathy. In the old days, this would have been done through a long, boring blog post that nobody would have really read. Then we had stories about the ingredients. The idea behind was to offer customers the ability to shop based on their desired results and create curiosity about the unique ingredients. On its own, it had a conversion rate of 5.4% and it helped sell products that nobody bought before. And lastly, we uploaded stories showing a morning routine using the Mastic products. It wasn't easy to film on a good phone camera, and we emphasized on capturing the vibe rather than just the products. It's a story of the ideal life our customer wants to live, and we wanted to create a relatable feeling to make the products more approachable. Now, the story ended up increasing the sales of the products shown by 18%. Another successful tactic we used was about boosting our conversion rates and average order value. We added a story about a welcome discount for first-time visitors, something we previously did with a text-based pop-up that never really worked. But now, since it was different and delivered in a storytelling way, people didn't skip it anymore. For instance, in our best week, it reached a 25% conversion rate and helped us generate over $500 worth of revenue. Now, as for average order value, we wanted to promote more our free shipping offer after $50. Using a funny GIF and placing it on the announcement bar instead of the small note on the website, we were able to increase AOV by 16% for purchases made through that story. So these were our most successful tactics. Over a period of 3 months, we managed to generate nearly 20,000 story views with a click-through rate of 7%. Overall, Storypop helped Mastic generate about $16,000 worth of revenue through storytelling. And now we've also developed some extra tools specifically for Black Friday that is coming up. Now, everything is based on the same concept of integrating proven marketing tactics with storytelling. And this is the storytelling pop-up. Now, pop-ups work and they do grab people's attention, but everyone skips them because there is nothing interesting about them. It's usually mostly text saying 80% off and things like that. This kind of pop-up, however, is designed to grab the same attention and channel the customer to the right behavior through the story and the more visually appealing presentation. To increase the conversion of the pop-up, one can add copyable discount codes so you can give customers an incentive to purchase right after they have been moved from your story. And this is Storypop. It's a simple way for anybody to integrate proven marketing tactics with storytelling on their website. And you can try it for free at bit.ly/storypub-bfcm. Now, I was told that I have more time, so I'm happy to answer any questions about storytelling and anything related.
Nick, I'd love to talk to you, and I'll go ahead and plug this here in chat in just a second. You mentioned increasing time on page,
Yes.
and I wonder if, because when you created this tool, I don't know if like what your goal metric, probably increasing conversion was kind of the primary goal, right? But like increasing time on page has like all these great benefits. You know what I mean? And I think people forget that there's not a lot of tools out there that help you kind of engage with the page, stay on it for longer. But my question is, when we see people on pages more, how does that impact, if you know the answer, how does that impact like product discovery? Like I feel like they might be able to, find more items on the store. So this could really cater to large SKU stores on discovery. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, adding increasing time on page and doing that through stories um, gives you more time to show people things that they didn't previously wanted to look for. Most stores these days are a basic catalog of products, and we basically assume that people already know what they want to buy on the store. But that is not always the case, obviously. So by integrating the concept of entertainment people are so used to with from Instagram stories and TikTok in the website, you have the time to show them products that they would like to see. And that gives you time to promote more profitable products or products, your upcoming products that nobody would have seen otherwise.
Yeah,
And on a
absolutely.
more like practical perspective, time on a page can also boost your SEO because I'm pretty sure everybody knows how much that matters for the
Yeah,
rankings.
yeah,
So
that's
the more you
awesome.
keep them on the website, the more the algorithm sees that there's something interesting about this place. There's something interesting about my industry. So you can compete in your rankings much better.
I love it. And then, yeah, on that note, we've got a question from Cynthia. Does adding this tool and more pop-ups on the site slow down the site speed? So obviously, I mean, we've got videos that need to load. Give me maybe a little bit more of the technicals of how StoryPop works in engaging with the stories.
Well, now all the videos is hosted on our servers, so nothing slows down your website dramatically, basically. And over the past 1 year, we've improved our speed very, very much. So it's not a major concern.
The stories don't, or you don't have to load the video in order for the page to load, right? So it's asynchronous loading or
Exactly.
whatever. So in that way,
Your store will load first. Everything about your brand will load first, and then story pop. Now that
yeah.
will be like
So,
milliseconds.
so the bar comes down a few seconds after the page is loaded. And what a
Exactly.
lot of people don't know about page speed load time, well, first of all, Shopify site score thing is total BS. Don't go using that. And even Google has limitations on what you're looking for. What you're looking for is called moment of first. What's it called? It's not render. It's discover. It's interact. Moment of first interact, which means when the page actually loads and you can start scrolling down, that is what Google considers the most important component. So you want to make sure that you reach that as quick as possible. If the story pop bar is loading essentially asynchronously, which means in the background after you're interacting with the page, and then it pops down a second later, a quarter of a second later, even 20 seconds later, that is totally fine. Doesn't affect page speed load and what Google
Yeah,
or the algorithms.
that is exactly how it works
Yeah.
because everybody values SEO.
Yeah, and that's the only way to do it. And unfortunately, there still are apps out there that aren't loading asynchronously. Sometimes you do need to load, before everything else. But that's why, that's when you put a code in the header that prevents the load of the rest of the page because that has to load before you go on to the next line item. And that's how, like it's very literal. The code of web pages loads from the first
Top to
line to the
bottom.
last line, and the header is always at the top, right? So some people just don't know, or they forget about the difference between those things. And the same goes for review tools, because I've seen people really concerned that the review tool is like still loading after the page is loaded. Yes, ideally you want the reviews to be shown instantly because then people can experience them and interact with them. But if they load a few seconds later, that doesn't actually affect like Google search rankings. It just is slightly affecting the page experience. And so, all right, that's a side rant for that. And The follow-up question was, do they go away to IG? And the answer I know, of course, is no. This is the whole beauty of the tool. It keeps the interaction on the site. We don't want to send people to Instagram. Usually we're paying to get them off of Instagram, right? So yeah,
That's exactly the point. If the stories are visible like they would be visible on Instagram, but on your website. And on top of that, there is again the shop button in the stories. Like here, you can see that black, like on the bottom of that story, that says
yeah,
shop.
yeah.
And when they press it, they are already on the website, so they don't have to be redirected on your website from Instagram, take time to load, and go to a different page and spend time on basically waiting for nothing. Your stories are like taken from Instagram, placed on your website, and visible clearly, fast on the page.
Now, Nick, I want to know if maybe you have this or you've thought about developing it, or it might be in the pipeline. Can we shop the look? Can I hit one button to buy all the clothes that somebody's wearing in one of these photos?
At the moment, that's not possible, all the clothes, but you attach a product on the story, and when you press shop, it's going to take you decide which link is going to be behind that button. So when you
Right.
press the shop button, it's going to take you to that product page. But you can make it yourself. You can make the button take you to a collection or a ready-made cart,
Yeah, a bundle.
and then the customer can buy all of the products they want, all the outfit.
Yeah, I like it. And that just goes to show the discovery component of here. I think this is a unique merchandising opportunity. And I honestly would love to see you integrated with some of these personalization tools as like a layer on top of them, because they all use static imagery and stuff, for personalizing, but you're doing it in a really kind of innovative and interactive way,
That
which
was
which
the world we live now these days is like based on video and entertainment and faster thing than just sites that just say buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff.
yeah.
You're gonna make it an experience, not a shelf with things to just grab things from.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. All right, we're going to move into our next session now. Nick, thanks so much for joining us, everyone. You can see the power of this tool. It is definitely for the visual oriented brands. Those that are already crushing it on TikTok and Instagram can add a layer of engagement to their site. We should see increases in conversion rate. We should see increases in time on page and all the good metrics we want by using this tool to its fullest. I really love what you guys have done. I'm glad you were able to join us for the session today.
Thank you. Happy to be here. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks
All right.
everyone for
Okay.
listening.
One final question from Cynthia. How long does the story stay on site? You have complete control of this, so
You have
it could be
absolutely
forever.
you upload as many as you want, you take them down, you do whatever you want. It's your thing. You customize it as much as you want.
Yeah. And I think that's what's important is full dynamic control over this, because I know Instagram stories, they last for like a day, right? And then they disappear, or
This
then you have to add the collections.
exactly. This stays like the Instagram highlights on your website.
Yeah.
So you upload them, they get listed, and then you can select which ones to keep on the website, which ones to ditch.
Love it. Awesome. All right, Nick, thanks again so much. We will see you at the next event.
Thank you. Bye bye.